Hey guys, it's Postbox Pat. Welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we're talking about the Fortnite storyline leading in to the final event, because we've actually had some new information coming from Fortnite regarding Chaos Agent and some information about the agency as well. As we get into today's video, we'll be breaking all that down for you guys. Don't forget to smash that subscribe if you haven't already, guys. We're trying to get to 550,000. Thank you everybody doing that right now. Okay, so let's start off with the first thing that Fortnite posted, which was on their Twitter, and this is actually about the Chaos Agent himself. So you can see here, Fortnite have officially posted out some information regarding the Chaos Agent, and it's not just a simple return of the Chaos Agent to the item shop. There is more to it than just that. It actually says, looks good in this suit, but it's not the final form. Grab the Chaos Agent outfit, or grab the Chaos outfit in the item shop now. Guys, that is really interesting to see that it's not the final form of him. Does this mean that he's going to impact the event somehow? We're going to go into a little bit of details about that in a second, but don't forget, if you haven't copped Chaos Agent yet and you are going to go and purchase him in the item shop, don't forget to go and use code PostboxPat when doing that. So what else do we have regarding the agency? Well, in yesterday's video, this is a spoiler / leak type thing, but as I said, I personally don't think it is, because I've been addressing this topic since the start of season 2 and how the agency has a blank spot underneath it and the roof hole, and obviously this means that something's going to come out of the agency for the event, and these files basically confirm it. But we now have color version of these files. You can see them here, credit down below. This is obviously going to develop during the event, or maybe a few days before, and this is what will happen during the event itself. With the Doomsday device rising, you'll see Chaos Agent, maybe potentially, and that's what I want to explain a little bit about. So if Chaos Agent is going to get a new form, will he have some sort of impact on the event? And I do think we may see some sort of appearance of him during the event, or some sort of element of his, maybe that kind of dark matter that he has around him, which you see floating around, and you may actually see Chaos Agent appear during this event in this final form of him. The reason I'm saying that is because we all know that his mask has been taken by Midas. We know that, but we don't actually know if Chaos Agent has, and we can assume Chaos Agent, if there's going to be another form, he's going to do something during this event. So the Doomsday device gets powered up, it comes out of the hole, which we've just seen the leaks for, and then it does its thing. It tries, maybe Midas tries to use it to stop Shadow. However, maybe Shadow are just too powerful for him, and then everything goes wrong, and Midas has to kind of self-destruct the device, which is going to cause kind of the flood or the leaks or the water everywhere for season 3, which is going to be really, really nice to see. And I think this event in general has really been hyped up a lot, and we're getting closer and closer to it, which is really, really exciting stuff. So that's a little theory for you guys regarding that. We'll come back to that in a second. I just want to mention that the clip in yesterday's video, which had the kind of season 3 teaser in it, is actually fake. It's not confirmed to be real at all. The creator of it actually came forward and said that he was making it on his Xbox. So unfortunately, it just got out, and a lot of people did think it was real, but it wasn't. And also, if you actually pop underneath the agency, as you can see in this clip here, and this is interesting because there is actually a huge open gap underneath here, which just again supports further the idea of the agency slowly beginning to open up as the event does take place. So some really exciting stuff for you guys right there. And obviously, what else is going to happen with that device and the Doomsday plan, etc. We do know that Midas himself has been planning this since the start of the season. He has to overthrow Shadow somehow. Now, we're not 100% sure if he has gone rogue or not. It still is a question left unanswered, but I do think generally Midas is possibly trying to overthrow Shadow here, and that's why Chaos Agent has returned tonight, and we're going to see many appearances of him as we get closer and closer to the date of the event. I think maybe we'll see him one more time after the event, etc. But one thing I've been wanting to mention for a while on these videos is the actual timing between the event and the launch of the season. So from the Monday to the Wednesday, there is only technically 2 days of timing. Now, what makes this a really interesting thing to look at is you've got to consider, if you think about it, in every other previous event, there's been a few days for the map changes to settle in, apart from obviously Season X when we got the black hole, when everything went offline. But there's usually a few days for everything to settle in. However, this time there's actually only going to be 2 days technically, or maybe less than that, for the time until Season 3 gets launched. So the map changes that do happen during the event will probably remain on the map for Season 3, which is kind of an interesting point to point at. because in the past, map changes that happen during the event usually stay for a little bit of time. In my opinion, the best map changes we ever received was my secret video I made on the map changes for the Monster v Robot event, because that was really awesome, because there was actually a development of green and moss around the monster within the first 20 minutes of it actually being placed on the map. It was a very fast map changing, and I think that was probably one of the best ones we found out of all of the events, in my opinion. That's the one I always think of anyway. I'm sure many of you guys do too. You can go back to that video, it's a really cool one. There's a lot of Easter eggs actually during that event regarding map changes. So again, I do think this time map changes will happen, but they will be small, minimal ones, mainly at the agency obviously, because something's going to have to happen there with the device exploding, etc., or whatever it's going to, I don't know if it's going to explode, but something's going to malfunction if Chaos Agent's returning, especially for this. So definitely some interesting points to point towards. And again, another topic I wanted to mention in this kind of storyline theory video was the actual hole itself underneath the agency. This is really interesting because this centerpiece island is really starting to kind of tell the story for this season. Generally speaking, if we go back a little bit and just think in our heads, for those that followed chapter 1's storyline, we had Loot Lake, a very common location, and that Loot Lake had everything in it. It had the 0 point underneath it inside of the vault. Everything was there ready for that Season X event. Is it going to be the same with the agency? Is this center point on the entire Chapter 2 map going to have consistent things underneath it every single season? Or maybe not every single season, but say like Season 3 will lead up to something in Season 4, which will then lead us back to this center point. Is everything going to form underneath here? And I generally do think this is going to be the point where everything will happen. And if this map does get destroyed in Chapter 3, which is, wow, a long way away, but if this does happen, or if Chapter 1 does return at some point, that center point will have something to do with it. So definitely some really exciting stuff there, and some stuff we should all think about. And just generally speaking about the return of Chapter 1, just as a general topic, and I just wanted to mention this because if you think about it, I don't think Fortnite would just bring that Chapter 1 for us to pick an option between Chapter 1 and 2. I think that would be not following their storyline and not going well with the flow of the way things have been in Fortnite. If Chapter 1 was to return, I think it would be as a special event that has been planned during a live event, or happens during it. Maybe we transition to a different world or a different universe, or we get like an OG double weekend or something, maybe something like that. But again, I kind of think maybe not. So I do think when we do receive the old map, if we ever do receive it, it'll be perfect timing, it'll be hyped up during a live event, and we will go back there maybe for one season. We may even go back there for a week or two, or they may even bring out a season. Imagine this, guys. Say for example, a new season comes out and it's a rotation between Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 consistently. So for example, during the weekdays we're on the Chapter 2 map, and then during the weekends we go back to the Chapter 1 map, and this would be like some sort of storyline rotation thing, and things would be changing on each map as we go backwards and forwards between them. Again, this would cause kind of arguments in the community with people saying, why can't we play on it all the time but following the storyline as always? And I think when we think about Fortnite, I know a lot of us just generally want to play the old map, etc., but we've got to follow the storyline. Epic are never not going to bring back that map. At one point in our life, that map will return, because it's got so many memories on. So much is held on that map for us as players and the community, and I know they will bring it back at the right time, and so many people will want to play it. But right now, the game just generally isn't balanced and ready for the return of that map. The game needs a feel for casual players. You know, Fortnite is so kind of catered towards pros. During the last 2 seasons, they are aware of this. They've been sending out surveys, as we've mentioned in our past news videos. We've talked about how they're asking people, oh, do you like the building? Do you find it hard to learn building? Do you find it not very like mentioned or told that you have to learn to build? Do you find no tutorials to learn to build in? Is there enough kind of instructions or guidance on how to build? And these questions will be being answered by a lot of casual players, and their answers to all these questions will be no, most likely. I know a lot of the answers, in my opinion, will be no. Looking for tutorials on YouTube, again, is a solution for this, but a lot of the tutorials out there are very complicated and quite advanced. You know, they're past the level that most casual players could actually jump on. It's mainly the same sort of people watching these tutorials to get better. So generally speaking, in my opinion, I do think Fortnite will bring back the chapter 1 map once their game has got to a perfect state and the community like it. They will consistently change the meta as we go through. I apologize for going off topic a little bit, but it does relate to the storyline, all of this, because obviously the storyline is how the map develops and how we get all our changes. You know, without the storyline, Fortnite wouldn't be where it is today. And like I said in yesterday's video, without the visitor himself actually coming down in that meteor, we would never have anything at all, because that meteor is what caused the visitor. The visitor built the rocket. Obviously the rocket caused the cube because of the crack in the sky. Then the cube went into Loot Lake, which started everything, and then the cube suddenly went randomly around the map. Tears dripped into the lake. That created the orb, or the 0 point, and then the 0 point was picked up by the monster, or attempted to be picked up by the monster, but failed, and then the robot had to use it as his last resort to take the monster out, and then obviously the visitor returned. So this was all like planned events. Sorry if I didn't put any b-roll over that description. You know, you just have to imagine it in your head. Finding footage for all that stuff quickly can be quite hard, especially when, you know, there has been so much in Fortnite. So it's been absolute awesome, and it's been really cool to do some interesting topics in today's video, and it's just something I wanted to get off my chest, just generally speaking about the theories leading up to the event. I know a lot of you have been excited for my point of view for this sort of stuff, so I really do hope you guys did enjoy today's theory video and the news that I provided for you. Other than that, there isn't really too much Fortnite news. However, I've got a lot of videos planned for you guys actually during this kind of quiet period. Even though we're getting closer and closer to the event, I've still got a lot of videos planned for you guys during this period, like I said, so hopefully I can get them out for you. But they are kind of like videos that could take a long time to produce, so I'm working my best to do it, but I don't want to spend like 24 hours a day working on one video, so I'm trying my best just to kind of put in the enough time as I can, but it is taking a long time. I don't want to give the ideas away because they're yet to be done, but they're very cool and I can't wait to show you them. So stay tuned for them. Make sure you got that notification bell on. I'll see you guys in the other content on screen right now. Thank you for staying tuned right to the end. And if you have made it to the very end of the video, comment down below "the end 2.0" and that'll let me know if you've made it right to the very end. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in future content.